Simon Taylor. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Izzy, and really appreciate our conversation last night. Firstly, Waiba, hello. I'd like to begin by acknowledging the traditional owners of this country on which we meet, the Nullama people. I'd like to acknowledge the contribution they make and the immense thoughtfulness they bring to the many tasks and challenges we have in this place. And I'd also like to acknowledge their immense recent loss of a very significant and esteemed elder in Roebourne. I can only imagine the impact that has on the community and the families, and I really appreciate Melanie O'Donoghue's warm welcome and wise words this morning. It's a real privilege to work on this country. Over the years, I've come to understand in a very small way the deep connection that Aboriginal people have to this place. I think it's something all of us must learn from as we think about the Pilbara's future, and it's been fantastic to see at the event yesterday the contribution that has been made and the discussion that's very active at the moment about how we all work together to make the most of this great place, which is the Pilbara. It's also a highlight to see such strong representation from across government, industry and community, because ultimately the Pilbara only works at its best when we work together. And I'd like to thank the work done by Informa for bringing us all together yet again for a fantastic summit. There'll be lots of discussion today about strategy, and we've already seen some fabulous presentations. There's also a lot of discussion about opportunity and where the Pilbara's headed, and we always delight in those conversations at the Commission. Ultimately, though, at the Development Commission, we see ourselves as a doing entity. Strategy absolutely matters, and we're active contributors to that, particularly within government. But in a place like the Pilbara, people judge us on what actually happens on the ground. And I agree with the strong sentiments that were mentioned this morning in a couple of the presentations. For our job, delivery is central at the Commission, and it's about real projects, real partnerships, and making sure that the benefits of this region are felt not just in the gross regional product figures and the export figures, but in people's everyday lives. So, firstly, some context. We've got around $269 billion of planned investment in the pipeline in the Pilbara. Critically, that includes up to 11,000 new operational jobs, on top of a regional economy already worth over $90 billion. That's extraordinary by any measure, and particularly for a region with a population of 60,000. And it reinforces what we all know. The region will continue to power Western Australia, and in many cases the nation, contributing over 70% of the state's exports and a third of the nation. But living and working here, you also see the other side of growth. You see it in the pressure it puts on housing, you see it in the immense competition for workers, and you see it in the day-to-day challenges around livability. And I think it's important we're very honest about that, because growth on its own is not a success. If we get this wrong, we end up with a region that people come to for work, but don't choose to stay in, or worse, one where it is difficult and expensive to attract talent. If we get it right, we build communities that are strong, connected and sustainable for the long term, and a magnet for the talent required for future growth. So the question for all of us is, how do we turn this incredible pipeline of investment into better outcomes for people who live here and a platform for expansion into the future? The number of people living here permanently is growing and projected to grow even faster. The Commission has just completed the latest cumulative impact modelling for both the City of Karratha and the town of Port Hedland in collaboration with the two local governments and other partners. These models use current data to efficiently model growth in populations while mapping this against both housing demand and services. In Karratha and Hedland, we're projecting up to 3,000 new residents in each town within 10 years. That will require approximately 1,500 new dwellings in each town to accommodate these new residents. And this is why housing is such a critical economic enabler to growth, especially for the new industries with high economic value, such as iron processing, ammonia production and e-fuels, which require large operational workforces living close to plants. Which is why in December 2025, the state government established in the Commission and critically in partnership with the Department of Treasury and Finance, the Pilbara Housing Supply Office. This office is led by Barry Thomas, who's been getting out and about and hopefully is familiar with many of you. And the team has staff in both Karratha and Headland. The cumulative impact work alongside other pieces of work led by the Commission, such as the opportunity cost analysis we completed last year, have had direct impact on decisions of government to invest further in the Pilbara in the form of increased land supply and investments in grow housing. This has played out in Karratha in the expansion that's proposed at Mullataga, and congratulations to the City of Karratha for the strong role you played in that, and in Western Edge in Port Hedland. The Pilbara Housing Supply Office has also been driving a Karratha expression of interest process, which is about unlocking new housing and mixed-use development in the city. It's now moved to its request for proposal stage, and we really appreciate the efforts proponents have made to be part of that process. This means we're now moving from modelling and hypotheticals and projections and advocacy into the really serious and important stage of delivering the housing and land supply our Pilbara towns need. We're talking about millions of dollars being unlocked for housing development in the region, and we're just getting started. But one thing I've learned since living here, housing supply is fundamental, but it's not the only barrier. We can build all the houses we like, but if people don't see a future here for themselves and their families, it won't solve the problem. Which is why we have to think about housing as part of a much bigger story, a livability story. Livability isn't something governments deliver on their own. It's something communities build together. It's the small businesses that provide many of the services we enjoy each and every day, the community and the government services, and the accessibility of experiences that make people feel connected to a place. The Commission makes a major contribution to this through the regional economic development grants each year, known as REDs. These help to support growth and improvements in all of these areas. REDS is not just about local economic diversification and jobs. It does these things in very real ways, but it's also about driving livability improvements. Some of the really great examples I'd like to highlight to those of you who are here, and particularly those of you who are perhaps here in the region for the first time. You see Red Dog Renewables. If you have an EV in the region, you now have all the support you need to operate that vehicle and get it maintained and repaired. That's a fantastic business that's grown from strength to strength and was supported through a RED grant. You see Goomala and Pilbara Dive and Tours showcasing two of the region's most spectacular natural places, Karratha and the Dampier Archipelago, to both local, interstate and international tourists, and we're very proud to support them with grants in their venture. Locally here in Karratha, we supported Pilbara Dive and Tours with a grant to now have a fantastic dive boat. Headland Eye Care and Pilbara Physiotherapy, offering essential services that support resident wellbeing. If you need a pair of glasses made very quickly, or you have a problematic back, I suggest you get in contact with those two. Lowe's and Chaos Cafe. Lowe's has created a vibrancy in our city centre, which I think is the envy of many regional towns. And I also think that Chaos will bring even more diversity to that picture when you're here next year. And businesses like Core, bringing new technology and new thinking to the region and creating new local jobs and processes. These are the kind of businesses that use RED grants for creating jobs and making our cities and towns in this great region a better place. REDs don't just grow and diversify the economy, they make this place a more complete and livable community. The safety of children is a paramount priority for all of us. Pilbara Safe Spaces is a 5-year culturally led program that supports vulnerable children and young people who are on the street at night in Headland and Newman. It's been funded through major support, and this is where partnership's important, from BHP, Fortescue and the state government. What is important about Safe Spaces is it was developed through a genuinely collaborative place-based process led by the Commission and co-designed with local elders, Aboriginal community controlled organisations and relevant government partners, with our resource industry partners sitting there side by side. In Headland, the program is being delivered by Agility Aboriginal Corporation. In Newman, it's being delivered by KJ in partnership with the Newman Women's Shelter and Punta Kunu Aboriginal Medical Service. At its heart, Safe Space is about making sure young people have somewhere to go, somewhere trusted to connect to, and a pathway back to a responsible adult and the further support they need. Delivery commenced in 2025, Headland is fully up and running, and Newman has commenced outreach. Already Safe Spaces is showing the immense value of Aboriginal-led, locally tailored delivery. Put simply, the level of engagement with this nighttime program and its support services from young people has been extraordinary. This is a direct result of genuinely collaborative design, but most critically of all, local Aboriginal leadership, control and relationships. WA Police have been very positive in their feedback, and there is already very strong interest from a number of critical players in expanding the number of nights this service operates. For me, Safe Spaces is a shining example of what it looks like to translate policy intent into place, and it brings government, industry and community together into practical community-owned responses that in this case help keep our children safe, connected and supported. The creative and cultural sector plays a vital role in the Pilbara in creating economic and wellbeing opportunities for Aboriginal people. I'm very pleased to announce that the Commission will be hosting the second Pilbara Creative and Cultural Forum in Newman in May 2027. This builds on the success of the first forum in Newman in 2018, which brought together over 250 artists, cultural leaders, industry, government and community people. I said I was going to focus on delivery, and this is another clear illustration. Two key elements of this strategy were to establish the Pilbara Cultural Land Management Project, which many of you will know as the PCLMP, and enhance protection of Aboriginal artists' IP. In short, the PCLMP was a great success and has been a vital catalyst for the Pilbara Ranger network we see in this region today. In terms of intellectual property, the Commission funded the peak body for Aboriginal Arts Centres in Western Australia to deliver the Make It Real campaign, and this has had a widespread impact across the state in establishing and expanding authentication processes that underpin the protection of Aboriginal arts products. Creativity and culture are not side issues for the Pilbara. They are central to our livability, our identity, our visitor economy, and creating a breadth of economic opportunity. The forum will help shape the next Pilbara Creative and Cultural Strategy, giving the region a practical roadmap led by local voices, Aboriginal leadership, and all the necessary partners to make it a success. I encourage partners, sponsors and stakeholders to get behind the next forum and help turn this into an opportunity into lasting outcomes for the Pilbara. I'd also like to thank all of those of you who have got involved as sponsors already. So to bring it all together, the Pilbara's future is incredibly bright, the scale of opportunity is immense, and the focus on delivery needs to be acute. But having worked here for a number of years now, I think one thing is very clear. Opportunity doesn't automatically translate into outcomes. That only happens through coordination, which was a great focus of this morning's presentations, partnership and a sustained drive to deliver together. A key part of our role at the Commission is to help bring those pieces together, to connect policy with place and to align investment with community need, and to make sure benefits from the growth of this region are realised and accessed across the community. Finally, I'd like to draw your attention to the 6 Aboriginal businesses who the Commission is privileged to partner with to exhibit at this event. I'd encourage all of you to take the time to visit them in the main hall, talk to them, understand more about the work they're doing, and find ways to engage further and partner with them. Thank you very much and enjoy the summit. I look forward to talking with you all throughout the time we're here.